Like, I never had to explain that while I was with a man.
Exactly.
I should have had to explain while I was with this man. You should have asked me questions. I should have been required to answer them.
We are back today,
Hot
Liz and Lee. No surprise.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone watching, listening.
Almost travel time.
Yes. So we are going to piggyback a little bit off last week's conversation where we kind of explored my new travel advisor gig and talk about more life-changing aspects of travel and how it really can transform your life, your mindset, your health, your ambitions, and go a little deeper into the value.
I like the way you said in the previous podcast, you said you don't start with budget. You start with time, place, and all that sort of thing. And that's what I want to say to people that say, can't quite afford it yet. I say, how do you say?
You can't not afford it.
You can't not afford it.
Interesting.
It is the expansion that we all need to all understand that we are part of one big, huge world that are so much alike.
Yeah.
I don't care where you are. I don't care what language they're speaking. We all have the same needs, loves, fears, joys, and that is one of the beauties is really recognizing that in the places and people that we meet when we travel.
Oh, I love that. I think we should go on a safari. I'm looking at our outfits right now.
Yeah,
I'm like, I think that should be on our bucket list.
What are they, bowler hats or something?
I don't think it's a bowler hat, but it's like I know what you mean.
Yeah.
To protect ourselves.
Like Out of Africa.
Yeah. Well, let's start with that. What have been our bucket list trips that we've taken in our lives, and what bucket list trips do you have on your list?
Gosh, the way we travel, don't you think, is just sort of we want to go, we go.
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't look at the expenses. We work backwards with that. Bucket list is wherever I think of next. I mean, honestly, I don't believe in bucket lists because, and I don't really believe in waiting at all. You don't know what's going to happen the next time.
Right.
So I'm not going to wait and go, one of these days I'd really like to go to Africa. If we want to go to Africa, I say we go. It's a long way. We haven't been yet. And that's why, because I don't know why we haven't gone actually. But one place I really want to go back to that you and I have not been to is Istanbul. And I know that the world is very chaotic, especially right now. We have to be careful with those things. But the life-changing parts about going somewhere where they literally are not your religion, they're not, and they've been there for what, 3,000 years. I mean, this is a city that is pre-Christ. I mean, it's just forever. And the beauty and the history and the understanding and the progressiveness of a place like Istanbul or some of these great old places is just eye-opening. As an American, we are leaders of the world, but we don't have any of this.
It's a little bit more depth of history and culture.
Yeah.
We are one of the youngest nations in our world, and I do think that we both enjoy history and, even down to the architecture of buildings and places that's what I find so beautiful. And I do think kind of the message within all that is it doesn't have to be a bucket list to be momentous, right? Like air quotes, bucket list, right? Something uber extravagant or hard to get to or that everybody knows about. I mean, there's so many undiscovered gems that a day on the water in some unknown city, just having lunch and looking around and seeing something different than what you usually see is a bucket list.
Yes, it is.
So we've been really lucky to travel, and I think both of our most significant trips was our first one.
Yes, it is.
Together.
I mean, that was mind blowing. And I'll just say this, coming from being a heterosexual woman all my life, at that point, I think we were like 65. I mean, I was 64, 65, whatever
I was
it
not
was.
65.
You were like
40.
14, I don't know. Totally bad. But no, and really sort of stepping out not only of our comfortableness as who we had been. We were coming out as a couple, and that was big enough. But to really come out and travel really around the world together, and to end up in this beautiful Italian,
Amalfi
Coast, it expanded me to the point more than any other trip I've ever had.
For sure.
Because every moment, every breath I was taking there was a gratitude. It was thankfulness for where we had been and a thankfulness for being able to be here in this beautiful place together. And I guess we could have gone anywhere at that point, but we happened to go to probably the most beautiful place on the planet. One of them. There's so many beautiful places, which is the Amalfi Coast.
It really was
gorgeous.
incredible. I mean, and there's lots of elements to that make it so special just for us, I think in particular, is it was at such a pivotal time of our relationship, like the beginning, maybe not even knowing what we were doing or that we were together, and this ability to escape kind of the madness surrounding coming out and being together and just enjoy the beauty of the world and kind of bring that back that, hey, we are who we are kind of who we've always been, what we think is probably a better version of ourselves singularly and with each other. And to come back and kind of approach the world and our perspective without judgment or so much fear and a lot more freedom.
Lots of freedom. Well, in that particular moment, we were very constrained with how we could behave here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Truly.
And when we got there, we had no constraints and we were free and we could express ourselves. And there was that's where that expansion came, the expression of us being able to truly relate in every way, publicly, privately, say to each other the things we wanted to say, be out as a couple was mind-blowing and life-changing at one time. I
think that's so true. Yeah. And, you know, regardless of kind of that situational aspect for us at that time, you also get to kind of put the daily stuff away. You get to kind of step away from whatever, you know, not speaking gender identity, but whatever identity you carry.
Mom, dad.
That's right.
Business person.
Yeah.
You know,
kind
whatever.
of the pressure of the role that you've created in your daily life. You get to put that on the back burner. I don't know. I mean, I went to New York a few weekends ago. I was with Anna and not with you. And I told you, I was like, I walked out of dinner one night and I just strutted down the street. There's just something a little bit about, I wasn't, you know, I'm not acting or playing, but I put on a different attitude and energy. Maybe it was New York City and the bright lights, or that nobody knows me and I'm not Lee, this person who is ABCD. That's just a person walking down the street who looks happy and content. And I'm like, that is so cool. I feel that. I'd feel more confident anytime I travel.
Same here. And I think just get out of your space, be yourself. You're allowing, and we allow ourselves to be ourselves here as well, but it is a moment of true freedom. Travel is freedom. And and all of us have the capability, I think, to travel in some way, shape, or form, wherever we are socioeconomically.
To that point, we were kind of looking at our notes, like, in what ways has travel made you braver or more willing to take on risks in your life? And I mean, completely, like I just said, like more confident. I can have the power as a woman, either with you or solo, to say, here I am. I can carry my luggage. I can check into this hotel. I can get in a car. You know, like I know how to handle safety and all of that. But I just think
it's so weird. I feel like we were
fuels me a little.
I at least I'll speak for me.
Sure.
And I think maybe you. I don't know. As a woman, and that's who I am. I was gaslit to the hilt. Traveling alone or traveling with you was just, I don't know. I kind of believed this hook, line, and sinker thing about I needed someone, a man, you know,
to take you,
safety,
financially,
all these financially,
right?
No, that's not true.
Yeah,
that's just not true. And even with as sure of myself as I was at that point, it was interesting, really interesting to me to really be myself, and to own it. I mean, it brought me more of that bravery after that first trip we took.
I love that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's worth looking at if you've been on a same-sex trip with girls or friends or guys and your friends versus, you know, intergenerational or with your nuclear family or your partner. Like, kind of gauge how you're behaving with those people on those different trips and what is really the version of you.
Yes.
And like to not be afraid to be yourself or speak up for your needs or say what you want to do. I mean, one thing we do on trips is like, we can separate. We want to be together the whole time. But I know your routine is more like start a little bit later, like slower in the room, have breakfast, whatever. And some days I'll be like, I gotta go for a walk,
do your thing,
do whatever. And I think that's really empowering.
Absolutely.
Is to just say, this is what I want to do and go do it and know that you're happy and I'm happy. And if you just say what you want instead of going, well, we got to go along with X, Y, Z.
No, we got to be here and we got to be there and we got to be on time. No. These are not the people you want to travel with. Do not travel with those people. You will have a miserable time.
And when you are stuck with having to travel with people that maybe won't be the first on your list, it's what do you do to handle it? Because truly, there are maybe in-laws or, children or things that come with it. And I'm not talking the luxury of go on your partner travel.
Hands are freezing.
My hands are freezing.
Yes,
sorry. What I'm talking about is reality.
Yeah.
Is reality.
Yeah.
Is that you might.
Well, I think you've got to speak up for yourself. I think you really do. Life is way short. You don't know if you're going to get back to that place again, right? And maybe you're in your favorite, you've never been to some place, I don't care, Paris or somewhere, and you're with people that are messing with your vibe. You've got to speak up for yourself. And just take your own self away from them at some point. I mean,
well, you always speak your mind with love,
I do speak
right?
my
So we're
mind.
not
You're not saying be
it's time
rude.
that's right. Be rude or don't go along and be a good time girl. It's just saying, when you feel like you're maybe reaching your edge of what you're comfortable with or you're exhausted or you find yourself in a place, remove yourself kindly and say, I need this time or I need this and I will be back at this point. I mean, I just talked to my daughter about this when they did spring break. They go to these South Carolina beaches and there's 3,000 houses for rent, 3,000 people in a house. And we got to go here, there, and everywhere. And she and I are a lot alike. Yeah. And she just said, at some point, I just said, you're coming with me. We're doing this. Y'all meet us here later. Yeah. Like, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
I've taken myself out of those positions anyway.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, there is a reality.
I would
not
not
everybody has the luxury of like, I'm Liz Hilliard, Lee and I are traveling.
No, I'm just, I wish it wouldn't take to be old to understand this, but life really is too short.
You're right.
It really is too short. If the only way you can travel is your in-laws are taking you somewhere and you can't bear to be around them, just don't go.
Don't go.
Find a way,
Yeah.
And don't go and be mean to them.
Right.
Life is kindness. You can be kind to people, but don't put yourself in positions where you're just constantly
the wet rag, the doormat.
Yeah. That's just that's waste. That's the only thing that's gonna make me mad about anybody.
That's
putting
true.
yourself in those positions. It's just a waste of time.
I know. I've had to overcome a little bit of that thanks to your help. You keep looking in the mirror.
Well, I can't help it. I can't.
I look so good. Which camera to look at? How do I
have this weird hair, and one minute I'll have it flip one way, and now I was trying to figure out: is it going to the right or is it going to the left?
Well, it looks good.
Is it going to the right?
Yeah, it's going that way.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
If
there
you're
was
not
a hair
watching
in my face, I was like, which way am I supposed to shove it? That one or that way?
This is your cue to turn us on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's travel down to some more topics to talk about. I like this one.
Okay.
How can traveling actually help improve your wellness routine instead of throwing them off?
That's so good.
This is important.
This is very important.
Okay, do you want to start?
First of all, your wellness that is your wellness routine.
There you go.
Travel is your wellness routine. I do not want to catch you in your greatest trip to the Amalfi Coast seeking out an exercise class at 8:00 in the morning unless this is going to make your heart sing. If that makes your heart sing, go do it. But Lee and I, or we as a rule, where are we? Let's see. We're near the mountains. Oh, we're down at the coast. What are we going to do in these places we're in? We do the activities of that place. Let that. This is your couple of weeks where you don't have to go to the gym and pick up those weights every single day. Your body remembers and it will recover. It will be fine when you get back. And then as far as keeping wellness, your joy of living at this point, eat and drink and enjoy your life.
Yeah.
And eat what they're eating in this place.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't eat that. I'm like this. I'm like that. No, you're going to eat what they or serving wherever crickets or whatever.
Which we haven't had to do.
No, we haven't.
But
I
I
would,
mean,
though.
we could try it.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that completely. Joie de vivre for sure, because cortisol, stress levels, freedom, enjoyment, beauty of life, that is wellness.
Right.
Mental health.
Right.
Now, when it does come to that, if you've been focused on the food and throwing it back the whole time, well,
you
that
do
might
have our streaming
catch up with
service.
you.
They have our streaming, and you can also Zoom. So if you were, but again, does this make you happy?
Right.
You're on vacation. I want you to be, this is your vacation away from your routine. Now, if you stay on vacation for 3 months, yeah, let's come in, let's get us online and let's do some working out, right?
But to your point, right?
Yeah.
Like being active, period. Walking a city, hiking, getting on the water,
Right.
swimming, doing real life activities and keeping your body moving is just as important as anything else.
it's
And
so
if you're consistent when you're at home, then going, it's the best thing you can do for yourself.
And we have always said this. I mean, wherever we are, and besides, especially if you're in Europe, the
was about
food
to
is
say,
so
yeah.
pure and so
Right.
good. You can eat all the bread and pasta you've ever thought of, and you'll come back 2 pounds lighter. Honestly, you really will, unless you drink 5 Heinekens on the plane on
Well,
the way
there's
home, like
that.
I did that one time.
There's that.
What else we got?
Have you ever had a travel experience that challenged your identity or what you thought you were capable of? I mean, I think that's what we kind of talked to from the get, that we were kind of able to open up and embrace a little bit more of our changing identity.
You understand exactly who you are. You
Yeah.
you see your limitations immediately. Sometimes travel is a really good awakening to your own self.
Oh, so
like, what
much.
can I handle here? I really need to go and take a nap this afternoon. Rome is really busy, and I've got to get out of this craziness. And I know I was supposed to go on this tour, but you know what? No. Own yourself, own your power, as we say in here, and make your decisions for you.
Right. I mean, and I did have some meltdowns, and we've gotten sick on trips before, and we
I don't remember your meltdowns.
I mean, like about Saint Chappelle when I yelled at you.
Oh,
and then,
yeah, that was funny.
What was it? Oh, in Rome when I wasn't liking it the first time we went. Nothing massive, but
Right.
just had some experiences that
Right.
made me frustrated or whatnot. And
Right.
and
Can we just do a shorthand of the Roman trip? In 24 hours, Lee freaked out in the Sistine Chapel, as in, get me the hell out of here. I feel like I'm going to die and smother. Nobody has that reaction to the Sistine Chapel except for Lee, right? It was a hot day. You'd never been there. You were coming out of a divorce from a Catholic.
right.
She was a Catholic not want to be, and she never did want to be, and then she was out of it, and then she was being like this with all these Catholics. So she freaked out there. We get her out of that. She's the nuns and the priests are in the back. She's not seeing them. I can go. We go to this great place. We're going to go for dinner in Rome. You've never been to Rome. This is our first trip after we've been on the Amalfi Coast with our most romantic time. I'm like, she's going to love Rome. I love Rome. This is going to be so romantic. She's had the worst experience at the Vatican of anybody ever.
I know who
No
does.
one's had the worst experience
No.
ever. I mean, you could even like walking down the halls and seeing the statues and the artwork, like these damn Catholics, they have so much money. Why don't they give it to the poor? Anyway, she had one of those moments. And then we get to the dinner part. And you've made
It's like a beautiful
arrangements.
piazza.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she takes one look at that and she goes,
No.
there's birds. I'm like, we're in Rome. These are pigeons.
Even worse.
They're everywhere.
They're probably on the menu.
And she was like, I can't eat there. I'm like, wow, okay. This is good. So again, a challenge. You better get along with these people that you're traveling with. So
I found us a new restaurant.
you found us a great restaurant.
and it gave you food poisoning.
So within the course of less than 24 hours, you freaked out. I've gotten food poisoning off of truffles. I thought I loved truffle, and then I came home and everything exploded at once.
The bathroom, there wasn't a
was-
drain unclogged. Not one.
It was rough. It was rough. And that's when I really knew you loved me.
I loved you.
You not only, I thought, now, if it had been you, I would have been hiding in the corner.
You wouldn't. Those roles could not have been reversed. I would have gone to the hospital.
No, it was a hospital moment. This was in 911.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm throwing up. I'm having diarrhea. I don't
All
want to be
of
so
it.
graphic, but it was bad.
All of it.
And I just out of desperation looked to the side and went, oh, it's a bidet. Perfect. I'll just throw up in the bidet while I'm. Anyway,
Doesn't
those things
flush.
do not flush.
No. Nope, they don't. Use your imagination on how that got cleaned up.
And it was rough. It was rough, but we got through. And we got through that, didn't we?
We sure did.
We did.
We sure did.
That was our last day in Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more day.
We had one more day because you tried to eat a green juice, and I was like, maybe not like a green juice coming off. There was nothing. Food poisoning.
Yeah, it was acid.
No, and we've been back once before, and it was lovely. But we've had challenging experiences,
as one would,
and that's just life. And now they're our funniest stories.
They are.
Our most fun.
That is, because we don't have to live through that again.
I know.
I will never have truffle. And I hate to say that.
That
It's very
is.
snooty also to say, oh, I'm allergic to truffle.
Yeah.
People are like, what is that?
I know. It is always like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to touch on with identity is interesting because even though we're in places that are open to kind of all sexual preferences and whatnot, it's still odd to have the two of us check into a hotel.
It is.
I'm going to be frank. It looks
It
like
is.
we're friends or
Looks like I'm her
maybe
mother.
mother-daughter or something. My name is Lee, Lee, so that's
Liz,
a boy.
L-I-Z.
And it's kind of like, what's
They half the time
happening
have it
here?
under Mr. and Mrs. Lee or something.
Something.
Like, you're my husband. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, no.
And then they see us and they're like, well, you have a king bed. And we're like, yep.
Yep.
What that? And then, you hear like, what about your friend? And that's always
It's
awkward and nobody
interesting.
means harm, but it is
But also,
interesting.
especially in this day and time, in our current situation, we go with the flow. Yeah, whatever you say, yes. Best friend, great.
Yeah.
We are really good friends.
No, we don't sit there and be like, excuse me,
Yeah,
we're
no,
a couple.
no. You just, that is another weird thing just about being out now as a same-sex couple. Like, we never had that in our whole lives when we were
Right.
married or just with other men, ever. Like, I never had to explain that while I was with a man.
Exactly.
I should have had to explain why I was with this man. You should have asked me questions. I should have been required to answer them. But and now it's very different. And so we have to be cognizant of where you are and how the society feels about such and such.
Such and such.
Whatever.
This is just a such and such going on between us.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What's your approach to staying present and really absorbing the lessons that travel offers? I have to cut off work stuff to a degree based on what we've decided to do. So for me, it's changing the daily routines, being like, well, it's this day again, and I've got to answer these emails, and I've got to plan this, and I've got to check in on this, like letting go and delegating and really being there. So I think work separation, like knowing what I am or am not going to do on a trip and sticking to that,
However,
I think is very important for me.
it has been some of our best business ideas on these trips because our brains are off the grid.
So I don't
know?
block the enjoyment of talking business with you. I block the mundane tasks
Right.
that revolve around
I'm not
business.
answering this email. I'm
Right,
not,
right.
Don't text me.
Right. But you're exactly right. I mean, that freedom to get out of the daily task and get into growth and, movement and building a bigger business or whatever it is we want to do, I think has been incredible.
It has, and I like that. I was going to say the same thing. I think, but
Okay.
mine is mostly. I literally cherish every moment, and it's not. How do you say that without being so cliche? But I realize that I'm here, and it's 10:15 in the morning, and I'm going to breathe this air in this French countryside, and I'm going to remember every moment. I literally am cognizant a lot of where
love
I
that.
am. Or driving the highway in one of my cars, one of my Renaults or whatever I'm driving, and because I love the cars.
Rental cars. We don't own cars all over the world.
Yeah, no, we get whatever we can get. At
Yeah,
the
the
rental
little
place.
ones.
Yeah, but they're fun. I just love. I immerse.
I think that's really good.
Immerse.
And my challenge is, because I love to plan and I am the planner, is to not be looking at the next thing. Okay, what's our next reservation? What's the next day? And even though I love and enjoy that, I don't ever want to let it steal the moment.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't know. Sometimes,
Sure.
a lot of times I'll go, I don't know where we're going tomorrow, and you'll go, you're going to love it.
That's fun.
That's part of the fun too. That is really a part of the fun traveling with you.
So that's what, do you have to work on anything in order to stay more present?
You would say I need to get off my phone, but one of my favorite things is phone art. And so I'll get on my phone at the end of one of these days. And if y'all want to see my reels I've made from south of France, I think they're damn good. Anyway, I like doing that.
That's what makes you
happy. It calms me down. Like you'll be making dinner, I'm making a reel. And sipping my
that
wine.
way you could remember the trip, right?
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. I mean, take as many pictures as you can.
And also look around you.
Yeah, but
away from the phone.
Yeah, I know. See, that is the one thing. She's worried that I'm very immersed.
I know.
I mean, the lavender. Oh my God, last summer the lavender. That was like I can still smell it. I can still feel it. I can still see those bumblebees all over the place. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, and I know pictures do help. Remember, we are blessed with technology that gives us quick access to photos.
Let's use it as a blessing.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Right.
How has traveling with your partner, influenced your business relationship and our personal growth? That's in our notes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I mean, again, the freedom to let your mind wander. I think one of the greatest things about time away from thinking and checking boxes and taking care of business is we need almost boredom time. Now, being on a trip, you don't necessarily get bored, but you don't have a lot you have to do. So your mind gets to expand and things come to it without a question. Like I'm not going, what are we going to do next? It just comes in. Same with you.
Totally. And I do love that part of the luxury end of our travel. I know is important because you do have to stop cleaning the house, doing the laundry, making the meals.
Right.
And so you get to really enjoy that and be grateful for those quiet moments. And I do think that completely fuels our energy.
I agree.
To be out of your space.
And now I want to go back to our very first points we were talking about, traveling with the people you want to travel with. Find a way to do that. Sometimes it's traveling alone. Our owner in Winston-Salem at Hilliard Studio Method, Lucy, travels alone. She loves to travel alone by herself. And she has these rewarding experiences. You don't always have to be with somebody.
Right.
You know? So just find who you are and do that because it is golden stuff you're getting. This is golden.
Well, and part of this too, I mean, speaking about Lucy reminded me of this when I took Anna to New York those weeks ago, and I was sitting at the bar and struck up the conversation with the guy beside me, Bobby Lee.
Yes,
and it's like I'm a little afraid to do that. Like as a solo traveler, I kind of want to be like, let me just...
don't do that.
And I'm like, no, these are people from all different walks of the earth. And then we exchanged these great stories. And I think he hugged me 3 times learning about our story. Like, oh my gosh. And just, that is so magnificent. And I think doing that in other countries and just looking around is so inspirational.
Right.
So that always comes back to like, what is it that we're doing here on this earth? And what is it that we want? What are we spinning our wheels doing and what matters?
Right. I love that. That's true. It's true. All right.
Okay. Next question. How do you personally balance, I like this, relaxation, adventure, and learning when you travel?
Okay, it's so easy for me. So how do I answer that? I mean, learning is luxury for me. Learning is a luxury. Learning is a pleasure. It is a relaxation. It is not a chore.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? Learning.
Relaxation and adventure.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
To me, every day is an adventure, and especially on a trip.
Yeah.
Every single day on a trip is a true adventure because more than not, you've never been where you are. And so, going to breakfast can be an adventure.
Truly. And I mean, I look at that as a nice little triangle of relaxation, adventure, and learning. You don't have to necessarily go to a museum or open a history book.
You really don't like museums.
No, listen, I'm just saying what that means, right? Like learning is that. It is being open to a different culture and all those things. But I do also mean it's just keeping your ears open and your eyes open and listening. And seeing what's going on take it in.
There was a night where one of our trips to France, and I can't remember when this was, we stayed up well past midnight drinking fine champagne with the owner of the place in Paris. It was a little boutique hotel.
That was in Rome.
Was that Rome?
On the last
That
night.
was Rome.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the beauty of that is he's Italian. We're American. He spoke good enough English.
Oh, yeah.
We had an exchange of really great, meaningful conversation for more than a couple hours.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by learning.
Yeah, that
right?
was our learning. And I mean, we had a blast. She sent us off with all this great, he put bottles of wine in our packs and stuff. And we're like, they wouldn't let us on the plane with it. So we were giving it to all the desk people at the airport. These great bottles of champagne, wine.
That is so true. And then
these are moments you can't plan for.
That's right. Same, excuse me, with the adventure. It's like you gotta a little bit leave. You know, when I talk about planning, there's always a lot of open space. You can't, I don't plan back to back to back to back. Like that relaxation aspect allows for more adventure. The adventure allows for more relaxation. I mean, yes, we've driven cars all over. That's adventurous. You and Aubrey, I think, had an Italian goat, sheep, car situation or something.
Oh, that was I forgot where we were. Yeah, he was driving. This is when I was married to my husband. And we were in the backwoods of, I think it was France.
It was Italy.
It was Italy? Because you were helping us. You were a travel agent then, you didn't know it. And I saw these goats, and they were big and beautiful and fluffy. And so I said, pull over, I want to go take pictures of these goats. What came after me? Like some big,
it was like
giant dogs.
Yes.
I mean, there's video of me running down the street toward the car and kind of like this, and you feel like you're in slow motion. I had like dogs after me, like snipping at me, going to kill me, rip my throat open. And but we laughed about that, and we still laugh about that. That was a funny story.
It is. And the more I think about it, I think we always tout like how perfect and marvelous our trips are and how great we travel together.
Yeah.
I remember the one time we were in south of France meeting our friends at the house they rented, and we couldn't find it. And so we were like, these houses have bars on the windows and there are pit bulls barking. Like, we are in the wrong place. We don't know what to do. And I stopped at one house to ask for help. And
she tried
it was
her French.
Like, my French was not working there. English wasn't existent. Of course it wasn't. And I got in the car like crying, and you were just laughing at me. You were just laughing at me.
But I was literally taking video of this because it was hilarious. She's just like pleading with them in her French, and they're like, what? What are you trying to say to me?
We don't know this, Rue.
Yeah,
good luck.
And it's sort of like, you need to move along, Anyway, that was funny.
You were safe in the car. So, yes, we've had all parts of it. I think if you can make space for all of it, then it'll naturally happen. And don't worry if it feels out of balance, because it'll work out.
Yeah.
And then finally, what's one mindset shift that you hope everyone could experience from traveling more intentionally?
If everyone could really travel outside of the United States, and even wherever country you're in, you would see that we all have one common goal. And that is really to love one another and get along. And that's not flowery words. It's true. We all have the same needs. There are not evil people in one country and nice people in the next country. We are all a world full of people trying to do our very, very best. And the more we can get out of our own space and into other people's space and try to, be a part of the world as a family, the more we can see that all these differences we have are really, they're not worth it. We're all the same. We're all the same color, whatever your color is, whatever your language is, it does not matter. We all feel love. We all feel fear. We all feel pain. We all feel joy.
Right.
And we have, goals of wanting our loved ones to feel that too. So
I couldn't agree more.
Helped me.
I mean, I think, open-mindedness and kindness, really, make your people proud of you, right? Like, when you go out into the world, it's important to be kind to the helpers and the strangers, because that's going to come back to you, I think, twofold, right? Like that pay it forward attitude, that do unto others attitude, that just respect.
It will come immediately too. People have always given people in Paris or somewhere with the big cities of Europe, oh, they're so rude in Paris. I've never had one human being ever to be rude to me in Paris, and I know why. and I'm not good at all at French, and I try. I give them a try. I give it a try.
Bonjour.
But I do, but I'm always kind, and I'm always a little bit self-deprecating, really, because I'm terrible at French, and I say it, and I try, and that I always love people that just try.
Right.
I want you to just try to do something. They feel the same way.
Right. Kind of that American mentality, like everyone should give me what I want. Everyone should understand what I'm seeing.
That.
Like, let's just
backpedal that.
Backpedal that.
Yeah, because by the way, we are not that cool. We are not that cool.
Let's try to improve that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not be assholes. But
yeah. And I mean, there's a huge part of that, the legacy that you leave in the world and the way you behave and even sustainability. I mean, we haven't really gotten into that. And, I'm working on that about, being a better traveler and leaving the world a better, cleaner place.
Agreed.
All of it is super important. So, it's like camping in the backwoods, like leave it better than you found it. I think that goes for everything.
Yeah, I agree. And it seems to me, at least Europeans, we've noticed, are a little better at that than Americans are. So just
food for thought.
And that maybe they noticed that about us.
Sure.
And maybe that's where some of that attitude in some people's minds has happened.
Yeah.
So anyway, do it to others and you'll have a blast. I mean, it's fun.
Exactly right. Transform yourself.
Yeah.
Go travel. Have some fun. Let us know if you need help, have questions.
Yes.
If you have places we should go, let us know.
Absolutely. Thanks,
All
y'all.
right. That was fun. Let's hit the road.
Let's do.
I want to go now.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.